Hi, everybody. It is Monica Rogers and Adrienne Rodriguez, and we just recently did. Oh, and baby Kaya, look how cute she is. We just did a vendor event this last weekend. We did a show in Dallas called the Ultimate Women's Expo, and we just wanted to share our experiences about it, kind of just lessons learned along the way, tips and tricks, and I come up all of this in the hopes that you might try your own vendor event sometime. Don't be scared of them. We learned some really valuable lessons in it. So the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is just how to find a vendor event in your city. Adrienne, I know you were the one that found this one. And she found it there was actually one in her hometown where she lives in San Antonio. I guess this Women's Expo is a traveling show, and so every major city has or some major cities have this show. So that's how she heard about hers. It's just because she heard about it in her town. She went ahead and attended it and then thought, oh my gosh, we could have a booth here. And I'm in Oklahoma City, so halfway for us was Dallas. So we just kind of decided to go in together. We split the booth money, and then we'll talk about that in a minute. But that's just kind of how we found it. But let's say you don't know about one in your area. A good way to find one is just to type in the name of your city, like Oklahoma City. Just go to Google, type in Oklahoma City vendor event or expo or women's event. You might even look at like a bridal show. And some smaller towns even will have like a little 4-H, like a fair or the county fair, state fair, all kind of things like that are places that'll have events. I was just, before we got started here, I was looking up for Summer. She's trying to find a vendor event here. And I found I just typed in the name of her city and then I put like expo or show behind it into Google. And I found the city that she lives in. I found the Chamber of Commerce website, and they've got a full list of all kind of events on the Chamber of Commerce. So you might, on their website, you might look at the Chamber of Commerce site in the city that you live in. Also, I know bigger cities like, for example, Oklahoma City, where I am, if I actually go to like the City of Oklahoma City's website, there's an events calendar with all kind of local stuff. And so you're going to want several months to prep for this, depending on how big the show is. But so maybe don't find one for next weekend. You know what I mean? You're going to want to find one that's like at least probably about a month away, would kind of give you like ideal time. So Adrienne, anything you want to add on kind of how you found this or how to find them in your area?
So what I did when I found this show for us, this was like in the fall that I had been trying to look for this, not this past fall, but I think one winter. Or maybe it was in the spring. I had been looking for vendor events.
Are you still there, Adrienne?
Oh, no.
You're frozen.
I know. Oh,
there I am.
You're back. You're back. Okay. What were you saying? Sorry.
So I had started looking for this in the spring of last year, so a year ago, because I thought, oh, bridal season's coming up. Let me get in on some bridal shows. But if you are looking for a big show that you want to go to, you're going to have to start looking at least a year in advance. But when I found this originally last spring, it was already booked for this, like last year when I thought
it was. Oh, that's right.
And so we had to book it out. When did we book? We booked it like last September, a long time ago.
Yeah, almost a year ago, yeah.
So if you're going to do a big show, which is what I mean, you don't have to, but even like if you get fairs in your town or shows that come regularly through, like whatever the rodeo, things like that are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That are yearly, you're going to have to book at least a year in advance because they go like that. People want the popular spots. And I just typed into Google, I think I typed in bridal shows and women's shows, and then this popped up on one of the links as a place where brides could go, and that's how I found it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Good deal. So that's about how to find it. And what we'll kind of do is Adrienne and I think, are just going to kind of tag team this, and we'll just kind of talk back and forth just because she'll remember things that I don't, and probably vice versa. And then, but if you have a question or something, feel free just to jump in. So this isn't like a formal presentation or anything. So just holler if something just pops up that you're like, wait, what is that? So So I guess let's talk about prep for what you need for a vendor event. So I watched quite a bit of YouTube videos. There's two ladies that I know that are other Black status presenters who do these kind of vendor events all the time, and they're really successful. So I wanted all the Kaya. I just see her little head, so cute. So I looked up Ella Whitaker on YouTube. She only has one L in her name, Ella with one L, and then Cindy Brancato. And I can put the list of people, their names in the comments and all that. But they had really great videos that I saw on how much product to bring, where to, how to kind of organize all of this, what to say to get women to come up to your booth, and then kind of how to either like close the sale and how to kind of follow up and things. So a lot of this is just like borrowed material from just stuff that I've heard from other people. And then Adrienne and I just kind of winged it. And, you know, so all of this is just kind of just random a conglomeration. This is not like original content. I just want to let you know that. But what I learned from some of these videos is about prep. Overall, the kind of the rule of thumb that I kept seeing is you want about 10 products for every 1,000 women. So we kind of followed this rule a little bit, but we had a little bit less than that. There were like 30 to 40,000 women expected at this event. And so if you think about that, that's about 300 products or items. And we probably had about that. We didn't sell maybe all of those, but I would say on hand, maybe 10 mascaras for every 1,000 people is a really good rule of thumb. So if you're only expecting 5,000 people or so, and ask these questions when you're booking the event. If there's only going to be 50 people there, you know what I mean? Like, you need to know how much stuff you want to bring. So when you're kind of investigating and really thinking about booking a show, there's some important questions that you want to ask. And the first of them, like we were saying just now, is ask about how many people are expected or how many people showed up last year. So that's a good indicator to kind of help you decide how much product to bring using that rule of 10 products per 1,000 people expected. Another good thing to ask when you're even deciding if this is worth it or not is to like ask about the advertising that they do for the show. If this is just something that's word of mouth, you know, you got to decide, am I going to drive maybe? Am I going to shell out all the money up front for these products if maybe no one's even talking about this? Adrienne had a great firsthand experience with this because she lived in a town where they had one of these shows. So she saw, I mean, this was being advertised on the radio, print, commercials, you know, it's a big thing. So obviously you want to take into account how much advertising people are doing because you want the most people to come to your event. Also, Adrienne and I kind of did some on our personal wall on Facebook, also some advertising too for the show, like, hey, come out and see us this weekend. We're going to be here. You can be able to test some of the products. So you want to do your own hype about it too, to let people know what you're doing. Otherwise, how are they going to know about it? So those are kind of big things. Also, just ask about the cost and maybe the placement of where your booth is. We were able to rent a corner booth, which I really think contributed a lot to our success. But you can ask about the layout of where you know, ask where the best spot is, or maybe you want to be right next to the door. You want to be the first booth maybe that people see when you come in. We were really close to the entrance, I think, which gave us some good just space time with people because we were pretty close to the doors. We were also close to the restrooms, close to the food. So you want to maybe ask about that when you're calling, checking around to some of these events, like, what can I tell me about, you know, where people go typically, like where's the door, where's the entrance, where's the exit? I mean, it sounds so basic to ask those questions, but you don't want to have the booth in the very far back corner where nobody's going to go. So in this particular instance, the show that we did, the corner booth was more expensive, but we decided, what was it, maybe $200 or $300 more, Adrienne?
I think so. I can't
remember exactly. But we decided, you know what, we're splitting this, and it is all of a tax deduction. It's all a tax write-off. So we thought this is our first one we've ever done of this scale. We thought we'll just try the corner booth and see what happens. So between the two of us, let me think of what else. I think that's pretty much all the questions that you kind of want to find out beforehand to see if this is worth it or not. Let's kind of move on and talk about all the stuff that we brought. And this was probably for me, and I'm sure Adrian too, the hardest thing is to know what all do you need to bring. We didn't, what they tell you in your kind of packet of information that you got is they told us we had a table, a tablecloth, and 2 chairs. And then they told us that the backdrop, the piping is what they call it, and the drapery was like purple and black. And we get one little sign at the top that says unique. So with this, I just Googled, unique events, unique shows, and was able just to find some pictures. I already had a couple things on hand from doing some smaller home shows, some kind of display items. I found a lot of this kind of display stuff at Hobby Lobby, and it was like 40% off at the time that I bought it. So maybe just Hobby Lobby always has great sales. I was going to see, I don't have any of them on hand, right? They're all in the garage because I haven't unpacked yet from the trip. But check Hobby Lobby for great sales and for great display, like shelving. Things also that work great for display items are like stuff for your kitchen. So like those 3-tiered like cupcake stands and cake stands. Any kind of pretty food, entertaining kind of thing works great for this because it's appealing. Adrian, we had a major win. Adrian's sister came to the show and brought some little like wine glasses with greenery coming out of it. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it added just a nice little kind of homey feel. Women love decor. So overall, we brought way too much decor and decorative stuff that we needed, but I'm glad that we had it because I think it really drew people into the booth. So we'll post some pictures of the booth. We took a lot of pictures of kind of how we laid it out. We had some signage that kind of drew people in. We had 2 different banners, mascara banners, and we did that because we had a corner booth, so we wanted to position one banner here, one banner here to kind of catch all the traffic coming to our booth. So we just kind of brought things. We brought a dolly. We brought everything in kind of these plastic tubs that I got at Walmart. Those really came in handy. And then I think Adrian, she got her, we both had a folding table that we brought, like a small little table. I bought mine from Sam's. I think Adrian did too, if I remember right. And then I found a tablecloth on Amazon. So just remember, these things might be a little bit of an investment at first. So you might want to start prepping a little early and just kind of slowly start accumulating these things. Are they required? No, but we had so much product that we needed a couple of additional tables, and I'm really glad we had them. So these folding tables were maybe like 20 or 30 bucks, and then same thing, I found a tablecloth on Amazon for maybe 10 or 15 bucks. Just remember to save your receipts because it's all tax deductible. And then I use that folding table for everything. I mean, I use it for like folding laundry in my house, doing crafts, or if I'm going to like a home show or something, that little table comes in handy. So I highly recommend one of those. And it's always better to bring more stuff than you need than to not have those things. Adrian, anything you want to add about just like the organization of how we did our booth or anything?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all. Let me think.
Okay.
Yeah. If I do, I'll interrupt. I'll just like go like this.
Okay. Let's talk about.
When I did I'm sorry.
No,
I was going to say when I did a home party, I found a lot of goodies at Dollar Tree.
Awesome. That's really good to know. I didn't even need to look there.
Yeah, and it was really nice because like the girls kind of made a little bit of a mess on the tablecloth.
Ooh.
And I just picked it up and threw it away. So.
That's a really good call. So even maybe like a plastic tablecloth or something that a disposable or cloth one that you could just throw away. That's really smart.
So I forgot about that. So my tablecloth, I typically just go to Walmart and buy like a single flat sheet. They're like $5.
Oh yeah.
Purple and black, or you can get like an 84-inch black curtain, just one panel, and they're typically like $5.
Yeah. Yeah, don't think that they have to be expensive. I'm really glad you said that, Summer, about Dollar Tree. And just finding good deals online, finding coupons. Don't think that you have to invest a lot of money in this to make it look good, because you certainly don't. And then what's nice is now I just have a couple of tubs now for all of my like unique display stuff or show stuff. So it's easy now. It's just all organized in my house. I should have done that a lot sooner, buying those kind of big tubs to kind of lug around. Adrienne, do we want to talk about, I guess we'll talk about next is how just how the show went and like drawing people to the table. Okay. I'll tell you what I think didn't work, and we didn't really realize this at the beginning, but what we were doing at first is, which was super important, we had our 2 tubes of mascara, you know, in one hand, open and ready, right? Like this, you know, just unscrewed, ready to, these are pens, obviously, not mascara, but you get the idea. And then in the other hand, we have like Blitz cards. And I heard about this tip from one of those ladies that I mentioned earlier on YouTube. So what we did is we stood out in front of our booth, and as soon as people would walk by, women would walk by, we would just ask them this question: hey, have you ever heard of the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara? And I think that was a great question to ask, because a lot of people are like, no, what is that? Or like, oh yeah, my sister has it. I mean, it was a great conversation starter. And then let's say they say no. Okay, let's just go through a little mock thing. Have you heard of the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara? They say no. Well, then you're like, hand them a Blitz card. Well, here's all of, let me tell you how easy it is. I hand them a Blitz card, and then immediately I start showing them, right? So I unscrew the cap and I say, this is the gel. You have this whole little like maybe 30-second spiel that you practice beforehand. This is the gel. It goes on just like regular mascara. Then right after you put out the fibers, you basically explain the mascara. Gel, fiber, gel. It's super easy. It stays all day. It doesn't smudge. It doesn't flake. And then at the end of the day, it's really easy to take off with soap and water. And then you just kind of stop and just kind of see, by this point, just kind of see what they're thinking. Some people are like looking at your eyes. Oh, and I really want to bring this up too. How Adrienne and I dressed and kind of presented ourselves. We wore like blazers and like a black and white kind of scheme, because I've read about, or I've heard it from several people in videos, that it's really important to keep a pretty simple color scheme with your dress, right? Not to look flashy, not to wear a bunch of jewelry, because we want our makeup to do the talking, right? So if we have on like these super colorful t-shirts, maybe that are like, ask me about my lashes, those are great. However, we didn't want people to get so drawn into our clothing that they don't even look at our face, right? So we kept our clothing and our jewelry, everything just really simple and just professional looking, with jeans. I mean, and like tennis shoes. We were on our feet for a long time, so you want to have something comfortable on your feet for sure. But from the waist up, we looked like business women. I mean, this was a serious business, and we want to like show that it is, So we kept everything pretty. And something that I think was really cool is we did one eye with the 3D mascara, and then I did one eye with regular mascara. So it's really easy for you just to say to people like, hey, check out this eye. Can you believe how much better it is in this eye? And then Adrienne did a similar thing. She had 3D on one eye and then no mascara on the other. So both were really impactful. And some people would look at Adrienne and go, oh yeah, but how does it compare to regular mascara? So then right there she could say, well, actually, my friend Monica has it compared to both. So it was really nice to have both featured there. And maybe if you're just doing this by yourself, you might want to have a picture of the other option, right? Of yourself, like maybe your own eyes, no mascara compared to 3D, and then maybe what you're wearing is 3D compared to regular mascara. So I hope that makes sense. That, I'm going to say, I think was one of our best selling points, because as soon as people look at you, and first off, and it gives you a reason for people to look at you and just make eye contact. If you say, hey, have you ever heard of the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara? You're showing it right there to people, and they're looking down at your hands, right? But then you're like, look how awesome this is. I have it on this eye, and I got regular mascara on this eye. So it was super easy right there. It was like the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? It was just, they all of a sudden were like, oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. And how did you do that? And how can I get that? You know, so then they kind of really, the conversation kept going. So those two things. So start off the conversation with, have you heard of the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara? And then have a little spiel, a little 30 seconds demo of it. You're not actually putting it on your eye, but you're just taking out the wands and you're kind of mimicking the motion so they see how it works. And then also, like I said, wear it on your eyes, because that was, I'm telling you, one of the most powerful things. People just, oh my gosh, their faces just couldn't believe. And you're your best advertisement, you know? So so that's kind of how what we were wearing and how we were dressed. At first, we were standing outside of our booth, right, with our mascara in hand and our Blitz cards. And what I've learned is, from hearing some people talk, is they would say, I almost felt like we were being a little too pushy at first, and we didn't even really realize it. But we thought, hey, you know what? We had goals. We were going to make some killer sales, and we were like pumped and ready. But I almost think we were scaring people off by being in front of the booth. And some people just, you know, they just want to walk by. They want to look at your stuff. They want to see what all you have to offer, but they don't necessarily want to be really engaged in conversation with you. So what we started doing is, once people really started coming over to the booth, Adrienne and I were kind of forced inside our booth, because we wanted to be behind them, or be behind the booth to kind of showcase all of our products, right? Like, here's everything laid out that we have for you. And I'm telling you, I think we had so many more people come up to the booth once they didn't feel threatened by us standing outside the booth like, hey, have you ever heard of this mascara? So just be mindful. So we kind of had to switch up our strategy and what we were doing, but it really paid off for us, because our sales really increased after we started doing that. And my mom and my sister actually came to the show, and just to kind of visit us and see. And my sister told me that too. She said she was walking around and she said, there's so many sharky people that are just waiting to pounce on you and to sell you whatever they have to sell. So I think just be mindful of that. We heard several girls tell us, they're like, well, you know what? We really like you guys. You guys aren't pushy. You know, I like buying from people who I just like their personalities. One girl just said, you guys are really down to earth. You're not like typical salespeople. So just be mindful of the atmosphere and the vibe. Go with your gut, with what you're thinking. If you think that where you're standing might not be great or whatever, try something else. Don't be afraid to kind of get out of the box and try something else. So the majority of the time, Adrienne and I were kind of in the booth, but we were standing the whole time. We were engaged with people, making eye contact. We were still asking them questions. We still had the mascara in one hand, but I think we were appearing a little bit less threatening, if that makes sense. So that was a big lesson learned for us, is just kind of placement of where to stand in your booth. We did a lot of like makeovers on people. Basically, people would come in. It wasn't as many as I would have liked, but they'd come in and say, well, tell me about your eye palettes, or tell me about this. And so we kind of invite them into our booth area, our little square-shaped booth, and we'd actually let them try the products on. Now, the mascara, you really can't sample out unless they buy it. And we did this on one lady who was another booth exhibitor. She just kept saying, man, I really want to try this. And we said, well, you know what? You could buy it. We'll go ahead and we can put it on. And then if you don't like it, remember, 14-day love it guarantee, we'll just give you your money back, right? And they're like, oh, wow, okay, well, I guess in that case, I'll try it. So we had several people that did that and opened it right there, or else opened it and tried it the next day and came back and told us about it. Nobody returned it. They just liked that peace of mind, knowing that if they didn't like it, you know what I mean? That 14-day love it guarantee is just really powerful. So don't be afraid to talk about that. But there's really no great way to sample the mascara. You really can't do those disposable wands. It's just not going to work great. Our wands are patented, and they're those wands for a reason. And you don't want to try to stuff a disposable wand in there and not have it be a great result for them. You know what I'm saying? That's going to turn them off even more. So instead, we just really pumped up our love it guarantee and stood by that, and just really pumped up the company and said, you know, they're a very trustworthy and honest company. If for whatever reason you don't like it, you just get your money back. So another thing too, Adrienne, anything you want to add here? I just feel like I'm talking and talking. Jump in if there's something you want to add.
something. I was thinking, and then she started crying, and I forgot.
Do you guys have any questions about anything? I mean, is anything sticking out to you guys, Summer and Melissa?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Was the fact that it was over several days, was that good or was that bad or is it indifferent?
That's a good point. I think Saturday was definitely a lot busier than Sunday. We did 2 days. Saturday had a little bit more extended hours, so I think that might have contributed also, is that there was one or two more hours on Saturday versus Sunday. I also felt like the atmosphere was a little more relaxed on Sunday. By Sunday, we were kind of joking around with people a little more. I think because we had more time, because it was a little bit slower, and so those were our day. Saturday really was all about sales. We were really focused on that, and then by Sunday, because there weren't as many people as Saturday, it really freed us up to talk more about the opportunity. And hey, we do parties online and it's super fun. And if you've ever thought about making money from home, we do this. And you know, what a great testament. Adrienne's literally there with her baby, like wearing her baby on her wrap. And she's like, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I work from anywhere. So I think the fact, if you do have a slower day, let's say, if you do have an event that's over a couple of days, don't be afraid. I mean, that's just more time that you can really conversate and really get to know people. That's kind of what we did in our case, and I think it worked well for us. We had several girls by the end of the day that really seemed interested in the opportunity. And it makes me almost a little regretful now that I didn't really try to do more of that on Saturday. But Saturday we were so busy. I mean, we were just swiping cards left and right, and you know, that was all the time that we had. So I guess just kind of gauge and kind of feel it out. You'll get a good feel for if you don't have as many people, you can obviously extend the conversation a little bit more. Adrienne, anything else you want to add on that?
Okay, so I remembered. So I think something that helped get us sales and not seem salesy is, sorry, boys. One, we had catalogs. Everybody wanted to see a catalog.
Right, good point.
We need to have a lot of those. I honestly thought we'd go through like maybe 20 catalogs. Like very few people would be interested. But everyone wanted a catalog, wanted to make sure they had a business card.
They like to leave with something.
Yes, and we also, something I really liked is a lot of people, they're like contemplators when they shop, and this is how I am. Like we had a lot of women who came up and be like, well, I just want to think about it. I'm going to go shop around. And so finally by like the middle to the end of Saturday, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm the same kind of shopper. Go look around, and if you're still thinking about it when you get towards the back of you come back up here, we'll be here, and you can get it. And we had a lot of women who actually came back and did that because we weren't trying to push the sale, right? Because I'm the kind of person who wants to look at it, who wants to think about it, you know,
and see what else is there. At that point, you don't even know what other booths are around, and you might be overwhelmed. You know, I agree 100% with that.
So I think us not being pushy really helped because a lot of those ladies came back. Then we also had a raffle booth that was really helpful.
Yeah.
A woman did not purchase, we could say, hey, why don't you go fill out our raffle over here? And now we have all of her information. I can find her on Facebook. I can shoot her a text message and be like, hey, I'm going to do my drawing at this page, at this link. You can find it. It's just a really good way to connect with people. We had people and I told everyone who purchased and who didn't purchase, I would say, you know, we do tutorials online. We have Facebooks. We're here if you need any help. Like if you get the care home, you need help, you can find us on Facebook right here. We will do virtual consults with you. And a lot of ladies were like, oh yeah, that's awesome. And then they would friend request us or in our group, or they knew, okay, I can like this isn't a one-time sale. If I leave here, I can still contact her. And it doesn't have to be just, you know, a cell phone number. Like I can see her in person on the internet.
That's a really good point. We're kind of branding ourselves as we're your new makeup person. And a couple of things that what you said just kind of spurred my memory is those raffle slips, I posted those in the group Lash Legends, the little format that I use. It works great. It gets their name, their phone number, their Facebook info, or the Facebook link. And then at the bottom, there's these check boxes that says, like, I'm interested in hosting a party. Tell me more about the business info. I want to hear about specials. So it really gives you a directive when there's so many thousands of people going by and filling out this raffle slip of really who to follow up with. I'm going to follow up with all of them, but who maybe to follow up with first because they're interested in the opportunity right off the bat. Another thing I heard too in one of these videos that I watched is don't give away a free mascara. That's going to deter people from actually purchasing a mascara. So what we did is we gave away a liquid foundation in their choice of shade, which everybody loves personalized stuff, right? So what I did is I contacted the girl right after the show that won. And so now what am I doing again? I'm opening up another dialogue between this girl and I. Say, hey, guess what? You want a free foundation? You better believe I'm going to add her to my Facebook. I'm going to add her to my group. I'm going to contact her in the future about promotions and things. So use those kind of freebie things as a way to really just connect, another way to connect with people. But don't give away a free mascara. We don't want them to think, oh, you know what? I'm just going to fill out this slip and hope that I win and not purchase it.
Right.
So that raffle, I'm so glad we did that. And you know, not everybody's going to fill out a raffle slip, but it just, there's no way to capture everybody's info. So at least we had a ton of slips to go through. So I was happy with the turnout that we had with that. Gosh, there was something I was going to say. I just lost my train of thought.
Did you guys have anybody that wanted to order something that you didn't have on hand?
Oh, wait.
And if so, how did you go about? Oh, we're talking. Oh, sorry.
Okay, Summer, you go, and then Melissa. That was like same time. I couldn't hear. It was so weird.
That was crazy. Okay, who went first? Was it Summer?
Yeah, Summer.
Okay, Summer, go first, and then Melissa.
Okay. Did you have anybody that wanted to get something that you didn't have on hand? And if so, how did you go about having them kind of order right there on the spot?
We did. We had one girl wanted lip stains in a certain color. And first off, let me tell you what we did bring. So we brought, what was it, like 200 mascaras, about 200 mascaras. We brought like
one of every liquid foundation.
And we did this so we could have a tester.
Yes.
I bought little tester stickers on Amazon. Not that really mattered, but it just looked nice. But we had one of every shade except for the darker shades, the brand new darker shades that came out on June 1st, which we were thinking of overnighting those shades to ourselves. And I'm so mad that we didn't because we had a ton of African American women and we literally just didn't even have a shade to show them. So the liquid foundation did really well. We sold quite a few of those. If we didn't have their shade, well, I'll get to that in a sec. So we have mascaras. We had one of every shade of liquid foundation in a tester. Then we also had one of every shade to purchase. And if you don't have this, that's okay. Just bring whatever you have. Just at least show them. We also brought like 15 eye palettes. We brought like 5 shine wipes. And then between Adrienne and I, we just kind of had some random stuff. We just brought our makeup trunks. Like she had a primer. I had an uplift. You know what I mean? We just on hand just in case somebody wanted them. But perfect example, this girl wanted a lip stain. She wanted 2 different lip stains. And we didn't have any lip stains. Or maybe Adrienne had one, but it wasn't the right shade or something. So Adrienne upsold her. She said, actually, there's a set of 3 will actually save you money. You can get a set of 3 and you get to pick your colors and everything. So Adrienne literally just pulls out her phone, orders it right there on her phone, collects the girl's info, her address, her cell phone number, her credit card number, whatever, and now it's just going to be shipped right to her. So make sure to have your phone or tablet or something. A lot of these big shows will have Wi-Fi, so that was pretty easy to just order something and ship it right to them. So we really downplayed it. We were like, oh yeah, no problem, we can just ship it to you. We weren't like, oh, we don't have that shade, what do we do? You know what I mean? We were like, no problem, we'll ship it to you. It'll be right to your house in just a few days.
And I waived her shipping fee, and I told, we had her and then a lady who wanted like an eyeliner we didn't have. So I waived their shipping fee. I just used YCash for it. And I told her, since we don't have it on hand, I'm not going to charge you shipping. It'll be at your door in a week or less, roughly. So nobody really cared that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You could eat.
Yeah, we really didn't have any pushback on that.
Yeah, it was totally fine. Now, something we did as far as money, and then Melissa, I'll let you ask your question real fast. We put everything under one person's PayPal account. So we did everything under Monica's account. And then at the end,
I had a card swiper, a PayPal card swiper that it was free, and it just hooks into your phone so that you can actually process credit cards right there.
And then
That was my question.
Oh, was that your question? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Yay!
That's funny. Well, see, I have a PayPal reader, and we were going to just both use her account, but I switched purses and left mine at home. So we just swiped on Monica's phone. And then we decided that if we had to put any orders on the website, we would put it under my account. So that
she opened a new party on her website, so we would know what orders came in from that show.
Oh, that's smart to do. Have a brand new party just for the event.
So then it's kind of easy to track. And two, we were trying to find out, like, how much did we actually make at the end of the day? So we didn't want to really mix it up with stuff. So I started with like $0 in my PayPal account, and just whatever, it just kept a tally like that. So we actually had just two different phones. I had my phone, which my phone was like the PayPal phone, and then Adrian's phone was like the ordering phone, if we had to order something. So, it's so awesome that we can do all that stuff from our phone, and it just made it really convenient. Something else I was going to say too is wear things on your face that day that you have in stock. So Adrian was wearing palette 2 one day. And so what are people going to do naturally? They're going to look at your eyes because we're talking about the mascara. And then they're like, oh, and what eyeshadow do you have on? Adrian's like, oh, it's palette 2 and it's right over here. And it's on sale for blah, blah, blah. And so we had a few people buy palettes and just things they wanted to know what we were wearing on our face. So I would say just try to focus on wearing things that you have there in stock, or at least something like bring it with you to show them so that they can see it. There's something about them seeing it, touching it, let them stick their finger in it, whatever. I mean, obviously make it hygienic, but we would kind of dip our finger in some and rub it on their hand. You don't feel like you have to be like a makeup artist and apply it to people. But does that answer what you were asking, Melissa, about the payments and all that?
Yeah, I was asking if you had the card reader.
Okay, yeah. There's a PayPal one. I already had a PayPal account, so my card reader was free. I just went on to PayPal, and it says there's a button that says request free card reader. You can also use Square for card readers. I've heard some people do that, and it works great too. Both of those things, they take out a percentage of your sale, but you know what? That's a tax write-off, and I'd rather have that nobody has cash anymore. Speaking of cash, I did bring about $100 worth of cash, all in 5s and 1s, because 3 or 4 people did pay with cash. So I am glad that I brought some of that cash just really broken down so that I could give change. So that was a big thing that we did too. Oh, we have less than a minute to go. Oh.
Okay, one thing I want to say is make sure you use foundation brushes. I had mine sitting out there as an example, and every stinking person wanted that brush.
Yes.
So many people would come by and be like, where'd you get this brush? I just want this brush.
The liquid foundation brush with the hole in it was like insanely popular.
And I'm
super popular.
We can't have that brush. Sorry, guys. Because we were trying to sell like the bundle.
Yeah.
So I would say